Happy Thursday, y'all. Hey, y'all. Just waiting on people to hop on. I'm just texting the folks I have on social media. Because this thing is really not trying to tell people that I'm on here. That's so interesting. I wonder if that's why some of my notifications don't be coming through. I don't know what's going on. Hey, how are you? I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's because I am not on the like vertical live stream. I know the vertical live streams are being pushed out better than the horizontal ones. But I'm not gonna lie, I really like that when I do it on my computer, only I can put subscriber mode on and give it a limit of like how long you've been subscribed, and it helps to like avoid trolls from coming on here and like being a distraction to the live stream experience. Because when I went live the last couple times vertically last month, I feel like we had some people on there that was just being annoying because they wanted to be annoying. because like I couldn't really do anything unless I blocked them from my page, which was like time consuming because I don't have any moderators activated currently. But I was gonna say, I think also I like that it was pushing me out to people that didn't know me because it allowed us to have some really cool conversations. But I don't know. It's like it depends on the day or whatever. I probably will still do vertical live streaming sometimes too, though. Yeah, they be annoying, and that's the thing. Like with the shorts feed, it gets pushed out to people who are scrolling on their phones. So the good thing is it can help you grow if you get people who are really trying to engage and, meet new people, find fun videos and stuff. But like when you are on there and you just kind of like looking for a reason to pick on people, then it sets creators like who are live streaming to, I guess, grow themselves, get set up for like online trolls and bullying and things like that. It'd be a lot of young people too. Quick question. I know you're a gym girly, so boot camp at 8:30 a.m. or Zumba at 9:30 a.m. My gym offers group classes and I'm torn on which one to take. I would say Zumba because I prefer Zumba, but if your goal is toning your body, then I would say toning because the toning class will probably have stations where you're going to do different things. Like the last time I took a boot camp, it kicked my butt and it wasn't in the morning, but when I took it, it was the lady had like 6 stations, and within the 45 minutes before we did stretching and abs, we had to go through all 6 of the stations. So like station 1 was running laps around the room for 2 minutes straight. Station 2 was doing like arm like this type of movement with the free weights. Station 3 might have been doing like scissor kicks for your abs. Station 4 might have been like a leg exercise on the step thing. Station 5, hey Brittany, was like something that was kind of like a burpee type thing. And so like by the time we got done doing all them stations and going through everything, like our bodies was super worked out and toning, like everything felt like it was burning. And it was just like a really good toning, like I keep saying like I'm sorry, I'm kind of sleepy, y'all. It was a really good total body workout. But if you're asking me what I would prefer, like if I hadn't been to the gym in a long time and I was starting fresh, I would probably want to take baby steps and do a Zumba class. But again, it depends on what your goals are. Or, you know, Zumba is a nice way to baby yourself into it. Boot camp, if it's a lot and it's really intense, it might scare you. Hey, Brittany. Hey, Quana. And hey to everybody that's joining. I am on my laptop because I'm trying to prevent trolls from interrupting our conversation. Hey, Florence. So, yeah, I was just like, we're gonna do the computer today. And I did the computer yesterday when I did Zoom because last thing I need is folks on the internet trying to talk about how I look crazy dancing. Cause it's hard dancing without a mirror. I like to dance in the classrooms because I have a huge mirror that goes around the whole studio. You can see what you look like and you can fix your form. So that was different, but I was just like, I need to get a workout in. And then today I didn't make it to the gym or do a workout at home because I went to this event at science school. So I was kind of glad that I did do that with y'all last night. Let's talk about the song I had you listen to the other day. Okay. I feel like maybe I should play it before for everybody because if I just we talk about it, they'll be like, what song? They ain't gonna know what I'm talking about. So Quana sent me a song. I'm about to pull it up on Instagram. And this is the artist. Hold on. MIKHYAB. That's the artist. And I'm going to play it on my phone. Hold on. Just in a few days, I'm guessing it's her turn. Really wanna just forgive you, but this one hurt. Every shot I take, I realize that you lied to me. Won't you just leave me alone? Oh, baby, let me be. How you with the girl you told me not to worry about. Kinda glad that you did, cause she like to run her mouth. Don't text back when it don't work out. Don't hit me when it don't work out. You play me, hope it really works out. I know you had your doubt, but I was all in. Yes, that's how our story ends. Closure, tell me to come over. Fuck till I forget you, fuck me over. Really can't believe you're telling me that you don't care that I ain't sober. I've been drinking, thinking about the things you told her. I just wanna know at what point did you decide that you was gonna stop loving me? I guess everybody was right about your dog ass. I guess I owe them an apology. I just wanna know at what point did you decide that you was gonna stop loving me? We ain't spoken a few days, I'm guessing. Okay, so that was the like the reel that she sent me, but the song is called Closure, and from this post it looks like you can find the song on Spotify and you can find the song on Apple Music if you want to listen to the whole song. So yeah. If y'all couldn't hear it, play it on your own phones from your house, and then you could just comment as you're listening to it and listening to me, to let me know what y'all think. But when I heard the little snippet from Instagram, I was like, I really could resonate with the song lyrics because I remember feeling the same way in relationships in the past, and just like being in a situation where somebody I was dating told me not to worry about somebody who I kind of had a feeling about. And this happened to me in college with one of my boyfriends. And I just remember him getting into a relationship with that girl after him and I broke up. And it was just so frustrating because when you're dating people who are not honest and they want to keep you around, but they want to do their own thing, it can really do something to you mentally because you will see things and you will see signs that are right in front of you, and you will be questioning the person because their behaviors are not acting up to the words that they speak. Like they'll say how they're all in, but they're not acting like they're all in, or there'll be red flags. You might see things on their phone, or you may notice weird patterns, or them going into the other room to talk on the phone when a certain number calls them, like things like that. And so, like, those sort of circumstances will have you feeling like you're crazy when all in all, that person is not being honest with you. And then if it ends up being a situation where you and that person split up, but then somehow like you can still see what they're doing. Maybe you don't block them on social media and you can see who their next person is. Or if you're young and you're in school, whether it be high school, college environment, and it's a small world. Or if you dated somebody you work with and you can see who they talk to if they decide to talk to another coworker. Like, how circumstances can go depending on the situation. And then you end up seeing them with a person that you pretty much had a feeling about, whether you knew the person or not. Maybe you don't even know who the person is, but you kept seeing that number pop up, and the universe revealed it to you in some way. I say the universe because I never was the type of person who would pry and go through my boyfriend's phones and things like that. However, if I am sitting next to a boyfriend and they had their phone out, I could see what was on the phone, I might look in that direction. I'm not I'm gonna sneak into your phone while you're sleeping, see who's texting you. I'm more like if we sitting here laying it up together, watching TV together, or sitting feet apart from each other, I can see what's on your phone just like you can see what's on mine. So it's like, you can take little mental notes of things like that. So when she said the part about he ended up being with the girl that he told her not to worry about, I was like, I remember being in that situation before and just feeling like, it is closure. It's closure that you deserved better. It's closure that you are not crazy. It's closure that, you know, everything happens for a reason. But also I love her attitude about how she said her saying that she hopes it works out and don't come back. Because that used to be me too. Even though I would I did do a whole back and forth thing with a few of my exes, my child's father being one, and then it was this one that I had in college that like we kept on being like friends with benefits for a while until I decided like I didn't want to do that anymore. Because I was just like, this is not serving me. But I feel like that particular boyfriend, the one that is not my child's father, it was convenient for both of us. Both of us realized that we were not going to be able to be in a relationship, but we also were friends before we got in a relationship and we were compatible physically. And so there were times where I felt like I used him because of being in a transition on and off with the person who became my child's father. But then I also felt like at times, um, he used me when there were people that he wanted to try to talk to that it may have not worked out or whatever. And because we had that friendship, we could talk about things or whatever. And I feel like I remember anytime with my child's father, if I would break up because it'd be some other girl that he was cheating on me with or whatever, I would always be like, well, I hope it works out. I was never the one arguing with the other woman on Facebook, tagging girls. Like, I did not care about that. Like, when I found out, like, I might have been dumb and went back months later. But, like, one thing about it, like, when I would find that, I'd be like, okay, well, you can have them. Okay, y'all, I hope it works out. And then like it would never work out. And then the person would come back and be wanting to start over and this and that. And like it he would only be able to get back with me when I decided I wanted to get back with him. Because when I would say I was done, oh, I hope it works out. That's great. I would go do my own thing too. And that was my way of getting back. Now, if I was single again, and bored and maybe some new people didn't work out, then I'd go back again. That's how it was like on and off. But anyway, let me see what y'all saying. I feel like I'm just talking and talking. We can hear it. I agree. It was a song I needed when I was getting played like a fool, but also being a fool. Exactly. That's exactly what it was by choice. Because I feel like after about the second time, I should have just been like, all right, I'm done. I'm never coming back. This is it. And I was able to do that with other guys, like, because I dated, I think I had 3 boyfriends in college. Let's see. Hmm, 3 sophomore year, junior year. I had 2 boyfriends in a situationship. And I feel like aside from the one I was just talking about, I feel like when I was done, I was done. It was very easy to just be like, okay. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. With the first one, it's always difficult for women that I've known. I know some people are savages, but for those of us who are not, it's hard to walk away and never ever go back. But I think like when you get to a point in your self-love that you realize that when people mistreat you, they don't deserve access to you anymore. It's kind of like, okay, next. I wish I could have explained to younger me that sometimes you don't get closure and that's okay. Just move on. Girl, yes. I wish that too. I wish that too because I think it would have saved me a lot of heartache and it would have saved me a lot of setbacks in my life trying to get closure or go back and redeem things that I didn't need in that season. Where did you go on your first date? With Des, we went to a Mexican restaurant called Cinco. And it was really good. Um, yeah, that's what we did. And it was Like, good conversation. I liked the food. And then on our second date, we went to a trampoline park, and that was fun. And then we went out to eat after we went to the trampoline park. But I remember, I think I got stuck in the foam pit, and he had to pull me out of the foam pit. But that was a really fun date. And then I don't know if I remember what we did after that, but um I find that the Sky Zone date was more fun than the first date. The first date kind of went unexpectedly because I had some last minute changes right before the date where the date almost didn't happen. So yeah, the first date was Cinco, and I think that's why like Des chose to propose to me at Cinco like a year later because that was where we first had our first date. But our first like fun date was the Sky Zone date. Yes, I had to bring Josiah with me on the first date. So, yeah. That was still the planned location though. Even if Josiah wasn't gonna come, that was where he planned for us to go. So he didn't have to like pivot or change anything about the date because Josiah was there. The restaurant is a family friendly place. And I know the next question gonna be like, "Oh, you brought your baby on the first date." Yeah, I did. I think the reason I felt comfortable with that is because of how we met. And we met through my line sisters. And like my line sister grew up with him and like known him since like childhood. And my line sister is my cousin by marriage, although her and her husband got divorced. So my line sister's ex-husband is my cousin on my mama's side of the family. And my line sister's kids are like cousins with me because their dad is my cousin. So, long story short, I felt like if my line sister knew my husband at the time and I trusted my line sister and my line sister invited my husband to her house to make this drink at her house, gave her address out. I just felt like he was somebody I could trust. I don't know if that makes any sense. Would I have done that with anybody, or any or everybody? No. I don't know if that was still the right choice or not. Cause like honestly, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. Now you don't introduce yourself. But Josiah was also really young, y'all. Like he was one. Like he was a baby. And so I don't know if I would have made that same choice if Josiah would have been 3 or 4. I don't know if I would have made that same choice if Josiah would have been 9. I think it really just depended on the person. Like I talked to other guys and other guys who didn't really seem to lead with intention. You know, I don't think we would have gotten there, to be honest. But Dez was very, very intentional when we met, and like once we exchanged numbers, I just felt really safe and really comfortable with him. Also, outside of like the thing with my line sister that I told y'all about, he at the time used to work for the government as well. Like in the court system, he was very familiar with child support processes, divorces, protective orders, like all the type of stuff that I was kind of dealing with. I didn't have a protective order against Josiah's dad, but like I was dealing with a child support case and trying to get him served because he wasn't helping me once we split. It was very clear that like I had completely ended that relationship, wasn't going back, wasn't trying to do anything but co-parent, wasn't getting help. And he honestly was very helpful because he worked in that system at the time for Fulton County. So like from the beginning of our relationship, building that friendship, he honestly would come with like advice about, well, you could do this, you could do that. This is what I've seen in my experience. So that was another piece of it too. The other thing is like when we met, he was talking about marriage and kids. I don't remember if he knew I was a mom when we met or if I just told him that because we were talking. But like I do remember specifically him saying how he envisioned like having a family and having kids, and he was thinking about those things. Well, the day we met, we were talking the entire time at this party, and I remember him talking about that at the party. I'm pretty sure I was vocal about being a mom. I'm not the type of person that's gonna lie and be like, oh, I don't have any kids, or not bring it up. And especially when Saya was that young, like, when your baby's like 1, you're in that stage where you're taking pictures of every little thing your baby does. So I'm pretty sure it came up. But then also Des says he remembers meeting me a long time, but before that, when Josiah was even younger, when I was at a probate, which if you're not familiar with what a probate is, it's like a member presentation show for a sorority or a fraternity. The Zetas at my college had one that fall, and his brothers from Sigma, from his chapter in Savannah, had came up to see the girls come out. So there was this party on my campus that day, and I was there, and I was with Josiah because, like, it was my first member presentation since I had graduated. I had just graduated that spring, and it was that fall. So I came to support my line sisters that were still in school because that was like their first group of girls they brought through, and to just kind of celebrate with them. So there was like a little gathering, if you will, after. And I was there. And long story short, he says we met that day, but I really do not remember that. Like maybe he meant like we saw each other. I don't remember. And at that point, I was not really single. I was still kind of in flux of what I was going to do. He was also not single. So I don't count that as us meeting then, to be honest. This is so awesome. I'm glad your line sister could vouch for him. Yeah, because I definitely asked her because she because like at first when we didn't have each other's numbers, I was like, and like he was very respectful and seemed to be okay with moving slow. And I don't know about y'all, but like if you're dating and you've dated men that be trying to like rush into asking you about sex like immediately into y'all talking to each other, and like Des was not like that at all. And then like it gets to a point where you start being interested in wanting to talk about that with them. And then like it's not that he wouldn't talk about it if I asked him or whatever, but it was just like that wasn't the only conversation. We would have deeper conversations about some of everything, like Christianity, like ambitions, goals. Like he would genuinely want to know how my day went. He could hold a conversation on the phone by a text. If we fell asleep when we woke up the next day, the conversation would continue. It was really refreshing. But I also would feel like to a point where when I started being like, okay, I really am starting to like him. Like he was moving slow, like he respected what I said. And I was like, Jelly, you sure? Like, and Jelly was like, girl, yeah, he definitely he cool. He's a nice the guy. He a relationship type guy. From what I know. And like the truth is, even when we were in school, he went to Savannah State and I went to Clayton State. He was a relationship type person. When he was in college, he was in a relationship for most of his college time, just like I was. So he wasn't really like a lot of um other D9 guys that I had met that were not really trying to be in a relationship. Like he was just very different. So yeah. So what I'm getting from you is I need to join a sorority, go to a college party, and I meet my husband. I don't know because not everybody has had my experience. I'm not gonna say go to a college and join a sorority and you're gonna meet your husband. I don't know. I will say you could possibly meet your husband at a party. I will say you can meet your spouse when you decide you're not gonna settle, because I used to talk to this other guy before I met Des, and he was so freaking inconsistent and so flaky. And when I got done with Josiah Dad, like to the point where he broke up with me, but I decided I wasn't going back and I was moving on and I was done because I was just like, this is too much. And it was this other guy that I used to talk to that I met at Clayton State. He went to Clayton State. And him and I, like, this is how it went. When I met the guy, I thought he was cute. I was like, I let him know that I thought he was cute and I was into him. He told me like he appreciated all of that, but he really saw me as more of a friend, but still wanted to be cool, still wanted to hang out. So at that point, I understood I friend zoned him. And so over the years, we kept in contact with each other. And every now and then, like if I had a birthday event, he would show up, or if there was some sort of mutual event with friends, he would show up. We would kick it. He would come back by my room sometimes and kick it, but we never did anything together. There was never any kissing, any sex, any sort of anything. But after I graduated, he started trying to be like flirty with me. He would always say, yeah, let's meet up and do something, but then it would never happen. And when I say meet up and do something, I mean like we were supposed to go on a date, go get food, go do something together like that. And so I got the impression that he was trying to get me to like have sex with him at some point. But then it was just like in my brain, it was like when you told me you weren't really interested, I didn't see you like that no more. So I remember like he kept texting me like sporadically, just random, like, hey, beautiful, hey, gorgeous, hey, this, hey, that. And I remember I had met Des, and like I felt like I was really starting to feel Des. I just remember the guy text me and he was just like, hey. And I'm like, oh, hey, how you doing? Like being kind of short. And then he had said something and I was just like, I kind of met somebody and I really like this. So then he gonna message me and say, oh, so does that mean I'm not gonna get to take you out on a date? And I was just like, what? Like, what I mean to tell that story is like before, when I used to not be firm in what I wanted to accept and not accept, I feel like I would have fell into a trap with somebody like that, because in the past, the guys I would date would be inconsistent, or they wouldn't be um sure of what they wanted. Like the guy I told you that I dated that became a friend with benefits, like he kept going back and forth with what he want to do. One day he want to be in a relationship. Now I don't want to be in a relationship. Now I want to be friends with benefits, but I want to dump all my emotions on you and tell you what's going on with me. And now I'm jealous because you moving on and you doing your own thing, and I don't want to see you with nobody else. But I don't want to be in a relationship with you. Okay, now I want to try to be in a relationship with you. Okay, never mind. Like I got to a point where I had to understand in myself what I wanted. And so by the time I met this, I was to a point where I was like, I know that I want to date for marriage and with intention. I want to date somebody who wants to be in a committed relationship and be serious. I don't want a friends with benefit. I'm not trying to have no more kids. Mind you, I'm raising a 1-year-old at this point by myself, putting a bill by myself, dealing with a sick child by myself, trying to have to find babysitters by myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Now, I did have my family support, but when I say by myself, I mean like his dad was not helping me. So I ain't got time to be baby mama number 2 and 3 and 4 and popping out all these damn kids with these different people that don't care about me. So by the time I got to Dez and by the time Josiah was a solid 1.5, I really knew like what I wanted. And so it became easier not to entertain people that didn't fit that box. Like if you talking to a guy and you're a mom and the guy is saying he don't really want to date women with kids, don't talk to him. Period. You're not going to change his mind. You're not going to be special just because y'all hit it off or y'all have a great sexual chemistry. There are men who do not want to date women with kids. They will still sleep with women who have kids, but they will never be serious with you because you have kids and they do not want to date a woman who has kids. There are men who have kids who don't like dating women with kids, or that will date women with kids, but they don't take care of their own. That's another red flag. Prior to becoming a mom, I probably wouldn't have dated a man with kids. I don't know if I would want to do it now. I only have one. But if I were to date, if I was single, if I were to date a man who had kids, it had to be somebody who was an active. I don't want to date no person that's a damn deadbeat. Like that's a turn off to me. So going back to what I was just saying, being a mom, dating men, you have to date people who are intentional. There are men out here who will date somebody who has children, more than one child. It doesn't matter. But you have to date with what you want at the forefront. So examine the behaviors. And another thing I would give as advice, I don't know if I did this well or not. Y'all can ask my husband, I guess. I don't remember, but try not to tell people that you're getting to know everything that went wrong with the last person or the last few people, because sometimes people can pretend really well to be what they're not to get sex from you. And then the next thing you know, you're starting to put this person up on a pedestal that really is no different than these other people that have hurt you in your past. Now, if they invest the time into getting to know you, then they're going to learn those things about you over time. But it's like sometimes I feel like when I was young, like I get into this routine of, well, what's your favorite color? What's your zodiac sign? What do you like to do for fun? Oh, that's what I like to do for fun. Oh, and I don't like this and that. And so people end up jotting down all the little quick tips about you without really doing the work to get to know you, and vice versa, right? And then you can't really find a good person that meets your match, but you got to figure out what are your things that are not negotiable, that you're not going to deal with. And then you got to put some things on the table that you could possibly deal with, because there is no such thing as a perfect person. And then the other thing is, if you're trying to date for a long-term relationship, you got to also think besides yourself and besides the woman's perspective. Some people may not agree with me on this, but I'm just being honest. Like, yes, you should find somebody who values you, that treats you well, that is going to want to make you happy, but you got to want to do the same for the person you're trying to find, right? It cannot just be about you when it comes to like doing things together, wanting to go on dates. Make sure you're trying to pick things that the guy you're into is going to like too, because guys have feelings too. Guys have hobbies too. Everything they like may not be stuff that you like. Everything that they um do in their free time is not going to always revolve around you. And if they like you, they're not going to want to give up all their hobbies just because they've met you. And sometimes you gotta date somebody that's different, like somebody that dress different, somebody that's shorter than you say your type is, somebody who is from a different like background than you. Sometimes they might have to be like into a completely different realm of things to become your compliment, because what's comfortable to us may be what's hurting us. I feel like I've never met anybody like my husband. And while he checks a lot of these boxes that I'm talking about, I also had to learn like he is this great person, but he's his own person. Like he's not like other guys. So I cannot try to handle him like other guys because he's not them. And I don't mean that in a bragging way. I mean, like, my husband has these nuances to him that I've had to learn over the last 8 years that are very different than any guy that I've ever met. And that's a good thing, but it's a challenge at times too, because the simpler guys that I dated before, like you could just throw cat at them and that'll solve everything. But when you get somebody who loves deeper, you have to really be in tune with their emotions, their desires, their feelings. He's like, he can be very sensitive at times. He gets upset about little things. I get upset about big things, you know. Small details matter a lot to my husband. Big details matter a lot to me. Like, don't mess up my birthday. Don't mess up my anniversary. If I'm planning something that's like a major milestone or something, like I want to feel celebrated. Those are the big things. He might be more mad about something he told you 2 weeks ago that bothered him while y'all were riding in the car, like something small. Or it could just be like him wanting to be considered, like when it comes to the holidays and things like that. Um, I don't know, but I'm just saying, like finding a person, it takes work on both sides. So yeah, let me read what y'all saying. But men without kids always hit on me. I mean, you're a pretty girl, so they're gonna hit on you. Like I said, um, I learned really quick, like having a baby does not stop a thing. You still look good, you're still attractive, you still, have an aura to you that's gonna attract men. But it's just about trying to find a one that has the same intentions that you do. And sometimes maybe you don't want to be in a relationship. You're trying to have fun too, and that's fine. But I just mean, like, if you want somebody who wants to be serious, you got to understand where their head is at early on, so you don't hurt yourself dealing with somebody who don't want more than like fun. From what I get, men that don't want to date women with kids is because fear of getting attached, then breaking up. I've heard that before too, and I've seen it. Like, um, a mutual friend of my husband's, him and his wife, they got divorced, and he married her, and she had a son that I think is like a year older than my son, and they got a divorce last year, and he had been in their life for the last like 4 or 5 years. So imagine you've helped raise this boy, you love this boy, this was your son, and now y'all are went y'all separate ways, but that's still your son. That is very heartbreaking. And when you meet a person and you love them and you choose to take on their kids, they become your kids. And whether y'all work out or not, I would say 9 times out of 10, you're still gonna love those kids regardless. Like, my dad and my mom didn't work out, but my oldest sister, who passed away, was not his biological child, but he loved my sister nonetheless. And it still hurt, you know, when um my sister got sick and passed and stuff like that. My dad would still go visit her in the hospital. He would still go and try to help my sister. That wasn't his daughter. He didn't have to do that, but he still loved her as his own. So it's like, yes, as a single person, man or woman, when you date somebody who has kids and they bring you around them and you start to build a bond, there is a risk of losing that bond. And that really hurts more than losing the person, because at the end of the day, if you're in a relationship with somebody and it doesn't work out, not because of unreconcilable differences, like something simple like finances, or you wanting to move out of state for a new opportunity and that person not wanting to move. When it's like terrible circumstances, like someone being mentally abusive towards you, or somebody being a cheater, or somebody being I don't know, those are the top 2, really, the abuse and the cheating. Then it's like, it's easy to leave that when you get to that stage of fed up, because it's like, well, you're damaging me as a person and I don't need that. But a lot of the times the kids are innocent. So when the kids are innocent and you have to walk away from their toxic parent, but you still know, like, not only am I not going to be able to show up for this child that I love, but they're also left with this toxic individual. That's hard. That's hard. That's very, very hard. And I think the thing to keep in mind though, like, most people who have a common sense are going to try to do right by their kids. So if they know that that individual is good for their kids, even though they're not good for them, they probably will still let them have a relationship, but it just hurts. And you might need time to heal before you can come back around. So then that causes you to kind of take a break from everybody. You know, one band, one sound. I got to get rid of all of y'all to heal me, and I'll try to come back if I can. But yeah, Brandy, that's a great point. I don't have another getting to know stage left in me. I understand. I've been there. Now I'm asking, what's your credit score? How's your relationship with your mom? What kind of insurance do you have? LOL. Men just simply want to be considered. They absolutely do. They absolutely do. The think pieces online tell that pretty clearly. They want to be considered. They want to feel like they're not just being thought of as a dollar sign to provide and take care of them. They don't want to be treated as if all they're good for is taking these women out on dates, paying for everything, and that's it. That's all. Like, that's what I hear a lot from single men. Like, they want to know that they're not just being used, because society has kind of set them up to be used. You're the man, set the date, pay for it all, don't expect anything in return. Like, it is just like, okay, I get it. And I'm not stepping away from tradition. Like, yes, you should ask me out on a date and do things like that. But I feel like It's hard, and it makes it hard for good guys because there's some really weird people out there in the dating world. Ask me how I know. The Facebook groups expose it all. I've seen some crazy screenshots of things that people share that they saw on dating app. It's crazy. But there's good people out there, and sometimes the good people get caught up with the wrong type of women, and then it damages the way they view all women. You end up getting categorized. Just like women, we get hurt, we get jaded, then all men get put in this box. And it's just like trying to work through that hurt and really just figure out what your standards are and learn how to not budge from those standards. Like believing in God, that's something that you have to be. You cannot be an atheist and be my spouse because I'm not an atheist. Like I cannot be with somebody who's going to be against me, believing in God and praying and, wanting to build my relationship with Christ. Like I can't be with nobody like that. That's not something that's negotiable. I was a mom. I'm always going to be a mom. I became a mom before I became a wife. So me being with somebody who wasn't going to understand that I'm a mom was never going to work. Right. Ask what matters when trying to find a life partner. I ask about goals, love languages, etc. Love languages is a great question. I do think that, but I feel like it depends on the person because I read the love languages book and I had my husband read the love languages book and he hated the love languages book. He said that it catered to women and he felt like the 5 love languages at the time when he read it with me. I have a video on my channel. Let me see if I can find that video. Because I feel like we did a video about it. And this video is not good quality. So not too much on me about this. But I want to say we talked about it together and he gave his perspective about how he did not care for the book 4 years ago. So I'm going to plop it in the chat because I just found the video. You don't got to watch it right now. But I'm pretty sure Des commented about why he didn't like that book. Like I said, my husband is different, but I feel like what he said, at least what I remember him saying, is that he felt like the love languages that were in the book were more descriptors for what women like. And it categorized most men as being fond of physical touch as a priority in their love languages. Um, Physical touch and words of affirmation, which I will be honest, I do feel like most men like and desire words of affirmation. And I say that because a lot of men have ego. And so when a man is in a relationship with a woman, having a woman that's going to uplift him and be his cheerleader, be his helpmate, pour into him when he's down and he's feeling like he can't do something, I think that goes with words of affirmation. A lot of men look for a supportive person when they're dating. At the same time, my husband brought up the fact that like he enjoyed solitude at the time. And exactly, reassurance and solitude was the one he brought up. And there was no solitude love language. It was like words of affirmation, physical touch, acts of service, gift giving, and but I missed something. But he was like, if my love language, if I was to tell you what my love language is, my love language is solitude. I'm an introvert, and sometimes I get overstimulated when I've been around people for too long. And I feel like for me, a love language is being able to, quality time. That was the other love language. Like the opposite of quality time for me is like, or an extension of quality time for me is me being able to enjoy my solitude or like my peace and quiet without interruption or without like someone coming in that space and disrupting my solitude. Or like he was said with quality time, also like doing nothing together. Like maybe I'm over here and you're in the same room as me, but you're not up under me, but I'm doing what I want to do and you're nearby and we're together, but we're not interacting. It sounds so horrible the way I'm repeating it back, but sometimes men appreciate that too. And I've heard women say the same thing. Like, if you are in a job where you have to talk to people all day long in person, especially when you get off your job, sometimes the last thing you want to do is talk to your spouse all day, all night. So I say that to say, like, yes, the love languages is a great baseline, but it really depends on the individual. And you have to open your ears to hear what your spouse or what your boyfriend or what the guy you're talking to says to really understand what their love language is, what they appreciate. Like, be okay with listening to them sometimes more than you talk. And also, like, consider when it comes to like them sharing things they love or they enjoy or that they're really into, giving them small tokens of appreciation or um recalling that shows that you were listening to them too. Like, it was this post on Facebook I saw last week where it was going viral. This lady was saying like she likes to give the guys a small gift when she goes on a first date. And it was like a whole back and forth in this Facebook group that I'm in about it. And like half the women was like, "Oh, I love this," and half the women was like, "No, I'm not doing that. Like, this is stupid." And then some of us were like, "Well, I do this sort of thing, but I'm married." Like, I thought it was a good idea, but I don't. But I also caveat being, I wouldn't do it for every guy. But like, let's say if it was a situation like me and my husband were, where we were talking a lot, like daily, getting to know each other. Bringing them a small gift based on a conversation y'all had is actually a way of showing like I'm into you too without doing too much. And then like again, that goes back to that whole them feeling considered. But I think that goes into men also I'm going all over the place. Men also like to feel respected because men are tasked with leading, but the thing is, men want to feel like they are respected by the person they're with too. And in order to lead, like, it's not to say you can't lead when you're not respected, but it's hard to lead somebody who doesn't listen to you or doesn't respect your opinion. So when I think of men's love languages or things that help our men, I would think it's stuff like the allowing the solitude and personal space. Like my husband is real big on his personal space. Respecting your spouse, listening to them. And then also when it comes to like acts of service, like making sure you take mental notes of things that they might tell you that they like or dislike. And definitely that reassurance piece that Brandy said. There are more than 5 love languages. Yes, 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 you are right. Also, knowing attachment styles is big. I have an anxious attachment style, and Babe has an avoided attachment style. I've learned a lot of communication and compromise. See what I'm saying? That's a very good point, Brandy. Like, people have different personalities. Like, also, our environments as kids affect the way that we are in relationships. If you had a mom or dad that never really said I love you, that wasn't really the type to give you hugs, that was not very loving in the words that they spoke with you, at times you can be a person who doesn't understand how to handle positive affirmations, words of affirmations, people being huggy and touchy and feely with you because you didn't get that growing up. And so it either does one of two things. You either crave it, because some people say like your love languages reflect the behaviors you didn't get as a child. But for others, it does the opposite. It's like, okay, well, I've survived without positive words. I survived without people hugging on me and touching on me. So now that's weird. Don't touch me. It either does one or the other. I feel like with me, I grew up with a mom that was very critical, and her comments will often sting a lot. So for me, don't get me wrong, I love good words of affirmation, but back when I took the love languages quiz, I probably should do it again now to see where I'm at. Acts of service was my number one because I always felt like actions spoke louder than words. People can say they love you, but then they turn around and do things that say the opposite. And so uh the last time I did it, it was like quality time and acts of service were like the top two. And then when I redid it like a year later, it was like acts of service and quality time. Quality time was third, but acts of service and words of affirmation were almost tied. And I thought that that was crazy, but I think that goes into just like hearing people tell you like they're proud of you, hearing people tell you that they care about you. But for me personally, I'm still very big on acts of service. Don't say you're going to do something and then not do it, because then that's where that lack of trust comes in, because it's like, I'm going to just do it myself because last time you said you were going to do it, you didn't follow through and you didn't do that. And now I got to go do it. And now I'm mad because all I asked you to do was clean this mess up or come through at this time for me and you didn't. So don't come and tell me you're proud of me later when I figured it out, or, that you're sorry or whatever, because the sorry would have showed if you would have did what you said you were going to do. Words of affirmation feel good, but what feels better is when you can be trusted in what you said you were going to do. Or just like showing appreciation with the things you do, not just saying stuff. Like that's the thing that's tough. But at the end of the day, words of affirmation are still important, because when it comes to things like showing appreciation after I do something for you, or showing appreciation after something positive happens for me, that's where the affirmation is desired from me more so than the act of service. Because it's like showing up for me is one thing. Yes, I do desire that, but it's like if I achieve something, like I got a promotion, and you're the last to tell me congratulations, now I'm looking at you funny, because it's like, oh, okay. But it's like also at the same time, I don't know. It depends on the situation. So that's why I think it got tied over time, because it depended on the situation. But like I guess during COVID, because that's when we were reading the book and stuff. I think it was like during 2020. I was really big on acts of service. Like, show me. Don't just tell me what you're gonna do with no results. And then quality time. I do love spending time with my husband. I love spending time with my kid, even though he gets on my nerves sometimes, and Des gets on my nerves sometimes too. And I'm sure I get on both of their nerves. Quality time is very big for me. I lost my mom at a really young age, and I've lost my sister, and I always keep talking about people I've lost, but that drives my desire for quality time with loved ones, because I feel like life is short. And so the more time and experiences you can get with people, the better, because you never know when you may not have that option. I love language is quality time, but my way of showing love is gift giving. Oh, that is so sweet. That is so sweet. One of my best friends, her love language, I told her, your love language has to be gift giving. She shows love to me and to like her people in her life with giving gifts. And she is the sweetest person. Like, if you get some good news, expect a card in the mail. And listen, who is mailing you something? Like, my best friend, she mails you a card, like to show that she cares about you. It could be even like somebody could pass away, you're getting a card. It's your birthday, you're getting a card. You bought a house, you're getting a card. You got a new job, you're getting a card saying congratulations. Like, she is a gift giver. When she gives gifts, she puts her thought into them. She writes really thoughtful notes in her cards. Like, gift giving is her love language. Ooh, excuse me. And I think for folks who give really good gifts like that, I think it hurts their feelings when you don't show up for them in the same way. Like, you know? So, I don't know. Some people think when you hear gift giving is my love language and you're not the giver, some people like to receive gifts and that's their love language. But like being a gift giver, to me, that kind of aligns with acts of service, because you're showing up for the person through a token of appreciation. But I don't know. I feel like for me it's definitely like the actions, the quality time, and the affirming moments when it makes sense. I think physical touch is a given, but like if I don't feel connected to you because we haven't been spending quality time, or because you haven't been affirming me when I really need that pick me up, or you haven't really been showing me that you care with your actions, then the physical is not going to be there, because it's like Yes, we all have moods that we get in and needs that we want, but it's I don't know about y'all, but when you get to a certain age, it'd be like if we're not here intellectually and in the heart, like the physical is not gonna do anything. Oh, y'all, it's still kind of early. It's only 10:30. Yay. Juana, have you ever bought a gift on the first date? I wonder what people bring on the first date if that's their first time meeting them. Somebody on the Facebook group said like you could bring them their favorite candy or something like that. Or like this other girl shared that she brought like a little plant. It was like a spider plant or something because he had mentioned that he liked that type of plant. And it was less than $20. Whew. I'm sorry I keep yawning. How's the the reason why I hate getting attached to people because once you say you like something, I want to get it for you no matter how much it costs. Oh, that's so sweet. Oh, cool. Wow. Not on a first date, but talking to guys in a talking stage, I do buy them things I like. They like. I think I've done that before too. That's why that song by Sexy Red resonates with people. It's like we go together. Tell them, tell we go together. Like you just get in that mood when you really like somebody, and it's like, babe, I love you. You my everything. I understand. And you know when people taking your kindness for weakness. Do you tell excuse me, do you tell them that you like giving gifts? I feel like I need to redo the love languages quiz tonight. About anime hoodies, blankets, t-shirts, etc. Because two guys I've talked to like anime. Oh, that's sweet. A blanket is such a comforting gift. Like they can use it while they watch anime. And it should make them think of you. I think that's very sweet. I wouldn't say change, but you have to guard who you do those really nice things for because everybody doesn't deserve it. That's all we can say. Everybody doesn't deserve that. Wow. I bought a boyfriend in school a hat for Christmas, and I don't think he really liked the hat that I got him. And he had got me a really nice necklace that I loved. And the relationship seemed to go downhill shortly after that. And I don't know if I hurt his feelings or if it was also just because he was a hoe. But we didn't really have no problems until after that, and I think it had something to do with that the gift, and that's what I mean, like, back at that stage, I probably could have done better with, like, listening to the people I was talking to get to know them better, and not just being caught up in the idea of, like, new boyfriend and not really knowing the person for who they were. But like I also was taking stuff kind of slow too. I think we had only been dating officially for like 2 months. So it was like our first Christmas. We had just started dating in like the early part of November. So I was like, I don't really know you that well to know what you like. Like, of course, a woman is gonna like a necklace. It's jewelry, but you know, women don't typically buy men jewelry. So it's like I was like struggling, like, well, what do men like? And that's one of them situations where I probably should have just asked the guy, like, hey, what would you like for Christmas? Gift giving teeters on people's pleasing. I do, but they don't even expect anything at all. The last guy didn't even want the hoodies, even though he wanted to get them. It was like he was like, I was gonna buy them myself, and I said, but you wanted them, so I bought them. Oh. Gift giving teeters on people pleasing. So you like pleasing other people, so you like to give gifts in efforts to make other people happy. Got it. So Quana, do you think the guy was upset because he really wanted to get it for himself and like you didn't allow him to do that by doing it for him? Or was it more like a he was gonna get him eventually, but he was more so like pleasantly surprised that you got it for him? I don't think I'm a people pleaser though. I just like getting gifts for people who I like. Got it. I feel like I don't know if I have a people pleasing personality currently. Maybe I do. That's only child syndrome though. Growing up kind of like an only child. Cause y'all know my sister was 20 years older than me. And I didn't get stepsisters until I was 16. And by then, like I still had more of an only child mindset, youngest child mindset. I'm getting used to this length. I got some waist length braids put in on Sunday, and y'all, they long. It's like they long, and they supposed to be. They're knotless. I don't know if you could tell, but they're heavy. Like she fed in a lot of braid in here, which I'm not complaining because my girl be having my hair looking cute, and she not expensive, but I'm just getting used to it because I'm just like, ooh, I'm ready to lay back, and I'm trying not to lay on my hair. And okay, there we go. Now I'm comfortable, kind of. You got me finna Google this attachment style stuff. I wonder which one I am. Attachment style quiz. Look, I done found something, and it's free. Is if it's free and I don't gotta sign in and like give my email. I found this quiz. I'm taking it while I'm listening to y'all as y'all type. I learned something new with the attachment style. Me too. I'm taking a quiz I found on Google because I want to know more. He was surprised but loved that I got him. I was gonna say it sounds really sweet. I would have been honored, honestly. I remember one Christmas, like Des and I were not doing the best financially together, and it might have been like when um he had lost his job that year, and I remember I was just depressed also because I just was not in the best place. And I would watch The Office almost every day just to help me laugh and like be in a better mood. And so for Christmas that year, my husband got me a office blanket and it was blue. I still have it. And I remember just being so happy that he got me a The Office blanket because The Office was my comfort show. And I'm also always cold. So it's like you brought me something to keep me warm, but it's something that's like my favorite show. And it wasn't an expensive gift, but it was just a really thoughtful gift. And I wouldn't have not bought that for myself. I didn't even know to think, oh, let me look for other office blankets. So it was just very sweet and thoughtful. I was not expecting it at all. All right. Let me see. I'm taking this quiz, y'all. Some of these questions sound like my husband, even though hmm. These personality quizzes be repetitive sometimes. I appreciate the when I face challenges, I feel reassured now my friends will offer their support. Disagree. 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 Has to be authentic without fear or rejection. Hmm. It's like they asked me some of these questions already. Hmm. Not I took that quiz just for it to be trying to charge me. Boo. I don't recommend. Don't take the quiz, y'all. I'm gonna undo it. Boo. Okay, I should have typed in free attachment quiz. Dang. That was supposed to be a free one. Take our free quiz. Oh my gosh. Now I'm doing another one here. I don't know if this is gonna be worth it, y'all. I'm sorry, friend. Oh man, this one's supposed to be free. Hold on, let me go back, and this time I typed in free attachment style quiz. So hopefully, hold on. Now I'm having trouble copying this link. Feel like YouTube, like, you already shared a link tonight. Hopefully that one is free for real. It says it's free. And it says less than 5 minutes. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Question 1. Are you in a relationship? Oh, wait. Oh, okay. Um Feel naturally comfortable and safe expressing my true feelings. I feel very upset when others infringe on my need for space or time alone. Mm, I'm willing to work through challenges in a relationship before suddenly trying to leave the relationship itself. I tend to be out of touch with my emotions quite frequently. I'm very attuned to others' needs and often put them before my own and resent it later. I constantly want to be emotionally close to my partner. This can also apply to my close friendships or romantic interests. I'm effective at compromising and communicating. It is very difficult for me to set boundaries unless I'm angry. I can sometimes set excessive boundaries and push people away too dramatically out of anger. I'm gonna say that's false. If I notice my partner showing any sign of coldness, I panic and want to get closer as quickly as possible. This happens to me in friendships as well. It is not uncommon for me to experience inward emotional turbulence throughout the duration of my romantic relationship. I don't know about that. I often feel very hot or cold towards my partner, family members. I tend to operate in extremes in how I relate to others. I know that I'm worthy of a happy, healthy relationship. When I feel hurt, I have a strong flight or fight response. I find myself wanting to push away as far as possible. I do not feel as though I need anything from a romantic partner or loved one. It can be difficult to conceptualize how others would meet a lot of my needs. I do not enjoy being out of romantic relationships. I often fear being alone. If a loved one's behavior hurts me, I will express my feelings and try to understand what caused them to act that way. I hunger for closeness, but I fear the emotional difficulty of it at the same time. I do not like making social plans with others in advance. I often fear being trapped by commitments with other people. I find that setting boundaries comes naturally to me. I focus more on the relationships in my life than I do on myself. Hmm. I don't know about that. That's a good one. Here, this gonna be the question of the chat for y'all. I know y'all can't see this quiz as I'm doing it, but is that true or false for y'all? I'm gonna say it's true because I'm thinking on it too long. I often feel protective over my space, privacy, and belongings, and I do. I generally feel invaded when my partner wants too much physical affection. False. I would prefer to spend most of my free time with my partner. If I were in a romantic relationship, it'd be hard for me to want to do things separately. That's true to an extent. Now I'm at a point where I don't want to do everything together. You brought me a popsicle?
Would you like one?
Please. Guess what? I ate a purple popsicle earlier. He came in here with a popsicle, y'all. I was like, I want a popsicle. True for me. If my relationships aren't in the tech, I'm thrown off until we are. True, true. It's true for me. And this includes like relationships with my dad or my child or my husband, like all of the relationships. It ain't just my marriage. It's just like I feel like I focus on those more than myself and my own personal needs sometimes. More than not. All right, what about this one? I would prefer to spend most of my free time with my partner if I were to be in a romantic relationship, and it would be hard for me to do things separately. I'm going to go ahead and say true, even though, like I said, I've gotten to a place in my life now where I'm okay with doing stuff separate, and I understand it's for the best. But I know, like, early on, I used to want to do, thank you, everything with Des. And I would want to go everywhere with him, and I would want to bring him everywhere with me, and I would always want to do every activity together. Now, I'm like I like to do certain things by myself, especially if it's stuff he doesn't enjoy. Excuse me, and vice versa. Because, oh, what is that on my nose? Oh, it's my nose ring coming out. I was like, what is that? Let me put it back in. Hold on. All right, it's back in. I was like, what was that on me? I was like, something big on my nose. And I was like, oh, it's the nose ring. False. I love me time, especially during after COVID. I understand. Okay. Mm, I feel that it is easy to be vulnerable with my partner or loved ones. True. I find that my partner or loved ones are usually emotionally recover from conflict before I do. Hmm. False. I'm pretty forgiving. I deeply fear being abandoned by my partner or love interest. False. I have previous knowledge of attachment theory. False. And it's asking how old I am. Oh man, y'all want my email address? I guess I can give it to y'all for the free. Like, I do not want. All right. Mine says that I am. Hmm. It says, "Does this sound like you? You're warm. You're a warm and friendly person who feels comfortable in long-term relationships and has a strong sense of self-worth. You're good at communicating your needs, feelings, and opinions to others and have strong conflict resolution skills. You can set healthy boundaries and avoid situations that don't deserve your time. You get frustrated with poor communication and when others struggle to express themselves. You see the problems as solvable, but sometimes your partner doesn't. You don't have a problem with long term commitments and relationships. You are an empathetic listener when your partner, friends, or family need you. The thing about securely attached individuals, you can sometimes end up in relationships that feel wildly out of balance, which can drain you emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Although you are very adaptable to different types of people, you sometimes struggle to understand how they operate and what exactly they need you to do to fully support them. And then they trying to tell me about how they courses can guide my life and they want to offer me a discount, and I'm not really interested in that. And then it says, "Does any of this sound familiar? Getting frustrated with poor communication, finding it difficult to relate to insecure people, being in unfulfilling relationships." If you relate to any of the statements, use their tools. So, where does your attachment style come from? Your attachment style and the relationship challenges it brings are a reflection of your story. If your attachment style is securely attached, it is likely that you had a healthy relationship with both of your caregivers during childhood. That's all right. You were probably encouraged to express yourself, and your needs for emotional and physical support were constantly met. That's why, as an adult, it's easier for you to create supportive, communicative relationships with others. Unlike the three insecure attachment styles, anxious, preoccupied, dismissive, avoidant, and fearful, avoidant, you don't experience much anxiety or fear when in a relationship because you didn't experience attachment traumas in your relationships as a child. Insecure attachment styles can have a tendency to bottle up their emotions, pull away, send mixed signals by coming close and then moving again, having difficulty communicating their needs, or putting up huge walls in an effort to manage their deep rooted fears of abandonment or betrayal. All of this can be extremely hard to relate to as someone who has never had the same traumatic experiences. A second thing to note is that although you might have scored a securely attached on your quiz, everyone has their secondary attachment style, which can get triggered in particularly emotional situations. Hmm, I can see that. Depending on the type of partner you're with in the situation, your secondary attachment style can surface, bringing along all its associated relationship challenge. For that reason, it's worthwhile to spend some time exploring the different attachment styles to enhance your self awareness and improve your relationships. All right. They said I'm securely attached. Oh, we're the same one. Yes, Lisa, we're loving the distance. Hold on. Mhm. I want to be in my man's skin, lol. Whenever I'm with him, I know I can turn my brain off. Oh, that's so sweet. I like doing my self care maintenance alone, though. I bet. Brandy, not the skin. Yes, Lisa, when we're long distances and my top love language is physical touch, so when I see him, I need to be on his hip. That's so sweet. That's so sweet. I used to feel that way when I didn't live with my husband. I feel like when you move in with people, you don't feel that way no more. When you're in a dating phase and you're only seeing each other 3 times a week, it's very easy to want to see each other all the time and be in their skin. But when you live with them and you wake up next to them and you go through all the things together, yeah. Yo, sure. Why are the results exactly the same as yours? They giving us all the same results. It's a scam. I thought I was securely attached. We can't all be securely attached. Yeah, I got the same results. They cheated us, and they did that to get my email. I'm gonna block them because they're gonna start emailing us. I might be secure attached though, because that really does feel like me. Sometimes I can be dismissive avoidant though, but that's mostly when it comes to conflict. I'm like, how we all securely attached? We got scammed. Nothing in life is really free. Let me try this free 16 personality test. Everybody wants my email. I don't want to. No email. All right, I'm trying another one. This question says, I am almost never late. I'm almost always late. Nah, but I'm getting better. That's funny. Focus on. Yep, I am. I am. Nope. Yes, at the beginning of a meeting, I'd like to get started right away. I would, because I get tired of meetings running over because people want to keep on talking about things like what they ate last night for dinner. Like, let's talk about that at the end of the meeting if we have extra time. I'm getting aggravated when people waste my time. Others would describe me, I don't know. I do have a problem when we change plans because that's irritating. Nope. I don't know what that means. Yep. Nope. Um, how many questions does this thing have? Oh my goodness. I find it easy to make new friends. I already answered that twice. Oh my goodness. Like, you know what? I'm not finna go through this quiz. I'm getting tired. What Wendy's is gonna collab with SpongeBob in October to give it the Krabby Patty. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna take Josiah to get one. Oh my gosh. Do you get bored past Quana? Oh, I see why you asked that, Lissa. How fast do you get tired of being with somebody? Ooh, Quana, I always wanted a Krabby Patty. I can't wait. I know, I want a Krabby. Des, are you asleep? Des. This popsicle was good. That's so cool. Like, Des, did you know that they're gonna have a Krabby Patty? All right, I'm done with the personality test. Y'all, that was entertaining for the night. I'm getting sleepy. Well, I'm excited to try it, and it better not be the junior cheeseburger. The junior bacon cheeseburger. Yeah, I'd be a little disappointed if it was that. Not that I don't remember how it tastes. It's not terrible, but it's like that's not what I envisioned my Krabby Patty to be. I wanted to look like the picture. Arby's had the good burger and it was pretty good. Like we went up there to get that good burger twice, I think. The first time we sat in and ate it, it was really good. Excuse me. I'm yawning all on the camera. I'm sorry. Nobody want to see me yawning. Oh, now that makes me feel so old. So SpongeBob came out in 2000. No, in 1999, right? It is 2004. Yes. So, yep. So I was literally 5 years old when SpongeBob came out. And no, wait a minute. My math ain't mathing because I'm 31. 31 minus 99 is, I mean, wait. 2024 minus 99 is, isn't that 26? Or is my math not mathing? Maybe I was five going on six, or maybe I was six. I was six in 1999. Yeah. I seen it. It looked exactly like a Krabby Patty. I'm about to Google it. Wendy's Krabby Patty. Oh, yeah, it's all over Fox News. Wow. All right now. Good night, Brandy. And I'm about to tell y'all good night too. Thank y'all for kicking it with me on live. And I will talk with y'all soon. Bye.